It took $80 to $200,000, and here's how you can get the same result combining price action with trading patterns. Here's the thing: you are never going to make money if you don't get pressure point on your trend line. And what do I mean by pressure point on your trend line? Basically, this guy hacked the code and he was able to cash out a lot, steady profits, different strategy, and he just kept making. So basically, the day he started cashing out was this 2nd of September. So I want to go back in time to explain it to you, so you'll be able to replicate what he did. Because if you fail one step, you will blow your account, and I know how it feels, blowing your account every day, trying everything and still not getting results. That's not going to happen anymore after this video. So basically, listen attentively. So you want to get a pressure point, and the pressure point is literally the end of the X in every trend line. And where is the end of the X? That sweet spot there, that circle there. If you can pinpoint the end of the X on HTF, on lower time frame, and the likes of that, and with some other confirmation which I'll be teaching you, like the ball is literally in your court, you can be cashing out steady. But even if that end of the X is valid, or it looks like it's valid, if it does not have this 5 tip, it's not going to work. So you can kiss that Lambo, that GLE goodbye if you don't follow the 5 structured tips. So number 1, your start of the trend line must be trapped. That's it must be trapped by 2 candles, basically the first candle and the second candle. And basically, after getting trapped, your third retest must be perfect. Like you can see that those 2 candles trapped it, but when price kept going on, you can see that it was respecting all the present, trend lines and the likes of that. Was bouncing on it, respecting it. And then you want to look for the second thing. What's the second thing? The upper structure must also be perfectly respected. Basically, that's it. When all these things have been fulfilled, then you can have be saying, okay, you want to go to the forward price action and then wait for that breakout and get one sweet entry at that pressure point where the X starts to form. So basically, you don't want to trade around this triangle. Instead, you want to make that triangle to extend and then give you a X breakout or a X diagram, something like that. And then you can now start looking for something to like confirmations that I'm going to teach you, so you can get lower time frame entry. So now monthly time frame has been confirmed, on the weekly time frame has been confirmed, and now on the daily time frame you can see the retest were perfectly structured, beautiful. Everything was bouncing, aligning, respecting each other. When you see this, then you now want to go to the second step, and this second step is that for your X pressure point to work, it must have another pressure point inside of that pressure point. Bro, trend lines are very complicated on, but if you know the strategy, you know the sweet point is in the back, bro. Like if you look at that point there, I'm on H4 time frame, and if you look at that point there, I literally drew another trend line there, and basically this is what this guy did. If you look at that point there, you can see like 5 retests at that moment in time. That's literally it, making 6 now. 6 retests at that moment in time, and that point I marked is literally where he entered that. And I'm going to go now to lower time frame to explain why he actually sold at that point in time. And so basically, from the hourly time frame, I'm now on the 30-minute time frame, and then I'm going to scroll to the side to the point, go the time whereby this guy entered his position, and that purple line literally signifies it, and the red line signifies the breakout of that trend line. So basically, if you mark that trend line break on M30 time frame, what you are going to see is going to blow your minds. Like if you keep extending it, you see that price is literally retesting every single trend line. That's to show you that once the trend line work, bro, just keep seeing it. If it works the first time, sell again, and you'll be making generational wealth. So let's say you take your $10, $100, another trend line touch, risk all the $100, you get it to $1,000, another trend line touch, another $10,000. So basically that's the first touch there, 1-2 touch, and then there was a liquidity grab, and then what the price do? Price started going up. So at this point in time, we're trying to understand the 10-30 minute fees, so we know what to do. So the phase that we're looking for is we're looking for a structure in which price is moving on the M30 time frame, and when we find the structure, what do we want to do? We want to keep following that structure, and that's what's gonna guide us to getting our second trade. Like if you look at this point, this was literally where that guy sold at. When price detested at that trend line, he sold instantly, but now we don't actually know why he sold instantly, basically because we have not confirmed if the fees that he saw here was repeated in the past. So what we want to do now is that we want to confirm why he actually targeted this point here. So basically we have to go back in time to understand the dynamics of what happened in the past, and then try to join the two together. So basically, if the guy literally intended to trade here, he would have gone to the back or the past to analyze what happened. And if you look at what happened here, you can see that price created a consolidation and then it broke out. So basically it created a consolidation after going up for some time, broke out, and then after breaking out it started going up. But the whole consolidation happened, the consolidation and breakout happened only after price touched a trend line. So basically what we want to look for in the next trade is that we want to wait for price to touch the trend line, then reverse more, and then create that consolidation, and then we will now be expecting a breakout. So now this is the trade that it took go, and if you look at that point, when price touched that trend line, he saw that same pattern happen again, the consolidation, everything. And what did he do? He went full margin on this trade. That's it. Unlimited leverage allows you to open the higher any lot size. So what the guy did is that he saw that sniper entry, he saw that consistency, and what did he do? He exploited it. He saw the pattern work, and then he just literally chose to exploit everything. And let's say the guy, because most of these people, they are not really smart at trading, let's say the guy was smart like me and he wanted to capitalize on this trade and get buy entries, because basically the guy only sold in this thing. You can see after selling for the first time, what did he do? He sold again. Basically, if I was in this position and I wanted to capitalize on this, I'm going to mark that trend line to the other side there, and if you look at that trend line, you can see that it was literally trapped at that moment in time. That is the trap there. So after the trap has occurred and price has retested at star front this thing 1 or 2 times, then we know that, oh, it's like the trap, the trapping is actually doing something. So what are we going to do? We are going to hold this trend line, and we are going to expect price to respect this trend line. And what do you see price do? You can see that price respected the trend line, and it did the same thing for the first trend line. So basically what did it do? It created a consolidation after touching the trend line, and then it bounced up. Literally the same thing the guys saw for the sale. When price retested at the trend line, it drops, created a consolidation, and then it went down. Same thing for the buy, touched the trend line, created a consolidation, and then went up. That's literally it, bro. And so basically he got his entry on 30 minutes. If you wanted to make your entry much more sniper, much more precise, and much more refined, you want to go down to 15-minute time frame, and that's the touch of the trend line. And basically what you want to do is that when price has given you a pullback there, you want to literally sell at that moment in time. So you don't want to really wait for the liquidation to form first. Instead, you just go in at the retest there, and you can do the same thing for the buy entry. When the trend line touch, you wait for the liquidity to form, and then basically you just go in when price retest at that liquidity point. And what was going to happen was that he was going to cash out the sell side and the buy side, instead of just selling whenever price touches a trend line. And if we go to 5-minute time frame, you can see that it was much more tinier at this point in time. You would have gotten more entries and tighter stop loss. That means you can literally risk $100 out of your $100, and then if price does reduce just small, you'll be in profit of $200, and if you just run for like 100 pips, you'll be in like 10k, 20k, just by catching all these ranges, re-entering all these points, and basically you'll be making free money. So if we look at the buy side also, you see that the same thing occurred for the buy side. So basically this was when the trend line touched at this point in time, and then what do you see? You can see that price was expecting all this kind of breaker block there. You took out the high of that point there, and then respected this breaker block. Beautiful entry there, tiny stop loss. Like, look at this stop loss, 3 retest for that matter. And then if you look again, you still see the same thing here. Price literally respected this demand zone, and basically this guy can ride this move and cash out big time, but he chose to only sell. So basically what the guy did was that he waited for price to touch that trend line, create that liquidity point or the likes of that, and then the guy just literally sold. He did not even confirm his entry, he did not refine his entry, he just sold at the top there, made sure he marks the leverage, and look at what he walked away with. So the thing about it is that, what if he caught the buy side too? What if he caught the buy side too? Because at this moment in time, the guy was just selling at entries. So basically it took time for him to close his entry. You can see how this thing was reading. But this guy, if you ask me as a professional, the guy literally wasted these pips. Like, if you look at this 15-minute time frame there, he was still selling again. When price was at the low of that point there, he started selling, and though he made some good money, he was able to walk away from this trade with something reasonable. If he had started buying, or if he had followed everything in this video, he would have walked away with something better. So if you want something similar to this, results similar to this, click link in description, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.